Wiggins, open corner three, good.
There's your capper.
And a 15-point lead with 100 seconds remaining. Draymond's got it left sideline. Let the celebration begin. With 4 titles in the last 8 years, the run is not done. The Golden State Warriors, once again, are NBA champions in 2022.
Let it ride, Langford. Just let it ride for a second. I want this to soak in on everybody out there in the Bay Area. I miss you all back home. I miss you, Shasky. I miss you, Langford. I listen, Lubman. But this is the sounds of a championship tune right now. Because the Golden State Warriors, for the 4th time in the last 8 years, as you heard from Bobby Fitzgerald on the call filling in for Tim Roy right here on 95.7 The Game, the Golden State Warriors are back on the NBA's mountaintop. And a lot of people said it couldn't be done. A lot of people said they would not even get close to the NBA Finals, where they're champs again. And another run is just starting. As I say, good morning to everybody out there. And oh, baby, the Warriors are champs. The Warriors are champs. Good morning to everybody out there. Good morning, Shasky. I'm running off fumes right now. Somehow, some way, I'll get through this show. But what a night last night at TD Garden. It was special. I hope everybody back here in the Bay Area was safe and had a lot of fun and popped a lot of champagne, because it smelled like a lot of champagne on that parquet floor last night. What a night for the Golden State Warriors.
I mean, they were pouring cement. And on behalf of you, on behalf of the Bay Area, oh, baby! Let's go! Bonta, you and I have been watching this team our entire life. They were the have-nots forever. I never thought that this team would consistently find a winning chemistry, let alone knock on the door of championships over and over and over again, let alone win championships. They've beaten LeBron multiple times. Mm-hmm. And we're watching the greatest athlete in Bay Area history without a question, without a shadow of a doubt, in the middle of his prime, at the height of his powers, and he's the GOAT. And there's just no other way around. And I don't care who wants to knock him. There's nothing you can say that can knock him off the pedestal. He's the most decorated athlete in terms of individual accomplishments. Are we going there now?
He's already going there now?
He's already
the best Bay Area athlete of all time?
Bonta, Joe Montana didn't play defense. Joe Montana didn't represent the East Bay fan. Joe Montana, you know, as great as he was a Kansas City Chief by year 13. All right? And I know the eras are different, and it's going to mean something for everybody else. Their imprint on a basketball game is significantly higher than being just the quarterback on offense. Is football more popular? Maybe. Maybe it is. Steph Curry's logged more minutes, thrown more passes, hit more layups. I mean, just think about the inventory of memories this guy has downloaded on Bay Area brains across the country. The guy's the GOAT, dude. I'm just sick of having the argument. The problem is that we want to wait until the die is cast. You don't need to, bro. Like Han Solo coming out of the carbonite. I already know who that man is. That's the GOAT. He's the number one athlete in Bay Area sports history. Go argue with your mama.
Yeah, well, I'm going to say this morning. I don't really care about all that right now.
I know.
I really don't.
I know.
But
it was great to see it,
whether it's Stephen Curry, whatever. I want to reflect and celebrate this championship.
I'm with you.
Because what a special season. It was turbulent. They won 53 games, but it was a choppy 53 games. They get off to the hot start, 18-2. They get Klay Thompson back on January 9th. Draymond gets hurt in the pregame warm-up with the back injury.
Unbelievable.
Doesn't even get to play with Klay Thompson.
Unbelievable.
Right? Doesn't even get to play with Klay Thompson, and then misses the next 36 games of the season. All right, then they get all choppy. Andrew Wiggins becomes an all-star starter for the first time in his career. Becomes an all-star, and then he gets mocked for being the worst all-star starter in the history of all-star games, right? So then Jordan Poole comes on in March. He's battling, starting, and coming off the bench, and we're having a conversation with Klay Thompson. Then Steph Curry gets hurt a game after Draymond comes back. And then we wait on James Wiseman all season long, and he never shows up. So instead, we get Looney playing every single freaking game this season. You can't talk enough about Kevon Looney, what he did this season. You can talk about GP2 and the impact Gary Payton in the second half, early and often this season, and then coming back in the NBA Finals. Today's about celebrating and reflection. All the Nick wrongs, the Kendrick Perkins, the Skip Baylesses, Brian Windhorst, who I saw last night. Forget all those guys. I don't care about them this morning. This is about the Golden State Warriors winning their 4th championship in 8 years and becoming a legit dynasty. You want to talk about the trio, Steph, Klay, and Dre, having more finals wins than anybody in the history of the game in the last 50 years. You want to talk about a 21-0 run last night? The biggest run in finals history in the last 50 years. I mean, this organization is a well-oiled machine from the top to the bottom.
No doubt.
Bob Myers, Joe Lacob, Steve Kerr. So today, forget all those other jabronis who because there's people here in the Bay Area who thought they wouldn't get back to the mountaintop. And I'm not naming names. They didn't even think they'd get close. And here they are on the mountaintop smoking cigars in Red Auerbach's house, in his house. That's what I care about today.
I mean, your man Bob Myers was on set with you with no shoes on and a pimp glass. I mean, what are we doing? The guy had a chalice, bro. It was unbelievable. By the way, you gave me a drop last night on TV. My dad almost started crying. Watching Steph Curry cry and kind of drop the way he did, I think everybody in the Bay Area that has had to defend him to that Laker friend, to that friend that says, he's not clutch. I mean, Bunty, how many hits over the last 4 years have you done where you felt you've defended the honor of Steph Curry on behalf of the Warrior fans?
And let me tell you, the Warriors notice. The Warriors notice. When Bob Myers joined the set before we got on air, I was like, man, can you believe Brian Windhorst said you guys were a checkbook? He goes, what is that? What is that? And he goes, thank you guys for defending us. Seriously, thank you guys for. And it made the rounds at TD Garden because a lot of ESPN people came up to me. Oh, they were like, man, you guys really went in on Windhorst, man. He's a nice guy. Well, I said, you know what? When you call a team a checkbook team, which Steph Curry mentioned last night,
I know.
He kept the receipts. It's disrespectful. It's diluting a dynasty. So when I see a montage of Brian and Windhorst voicing over Steph and Curry, I'm like, this is phony. This is phony. I don't want to hear from Brian Windhorst voicing over how great Stephen Curry is. No. You lost already. You blew that already. So now, for us in the Bay Area, we're in our own bubble, and now they have 4 championships in the last 8 years with the big-time dynasties, the Lakers, the Celtics, the Spurs, the Bulls, and they're not even done yet. They got 4 horses in the stable, young thoroughbreds, ready to go next year. I'm fired up right now, and I want to celebrate this championship because, man, what a time. To win that game the way they did last night with that 21-0 run, and then that wasn't even a more impressive run. How about the 15-2 run? How about the 15-2 run?
I love you.
Shasky, I got 2.5 hours of sleep.
I love you.
I feel like I should have stayed up all night, damn it.
No, look, man, I'm watching one of my best friends in the whole world on television interview the owner of the Warriors who turned this team from a penny stock into the freaking Ferrari of the NBA. I wanted to cry. I wanted to cry watching it yesterday. You're so right. They're lighting cigars in Red Auerbach's house. I mean, they've become the model franchise in sports. That's where we're at right now. You want to talk about threading the needle. Pick your favorite story of the year, Bonta. You've referenced all of them. I'm sitting here watching, marveling at Klay Thompson. Forget Steph for just a second, right?
Yeah.
Like, Klay Thompson, the guy missed 2 full years. 2 full years. I doubted whether we'd even get a version of Klay Thompson this year or at any point in his career. Draymond Green. I mean, come on. How many times have you, me, the Roasters, loved, hated, drove him to the airport, brought him back home, Draymond Green in the last 3.5 years?
Wow.
I mean, think about what he did in that YouTube with him and Kevin Durant.
Wow.
Right?
Wow, we couldn't
then you got the JP Money, you got the GP2s, you got the Kevon Looney stories, the Otto Porter Jr. stories, you got Steve Kerr type stories, you got the coaching staff stories. I mean, pick your poison on what's the most remarkable thing to happen this year. I think this is the sweetest one. We've got time to rank them all. I think this is incredible. But the thing more than anything, B, and you brought up Brian Windhorst, went to lunch with Nick Friedel yesterday, and let me just tell you this. They're not happy with the 2 boys going at him in the Lions' Den. He had no idea what he set himself up for.
Really?
Just to give you a smile.
So I wasn't wrong then, because in Boston, they were like, yo, You went at our boy hard. And it was like, wait, just because you have the ESPN tag,
hey, man,
we can't come at you?
Talk
you get on my TV screen and you talk all this nonsense about the team that I cover every single day. We've covered the team every single day for the last 8 years, for years, whether it's media or fan. And you sit here and call this team a checkbook team. Nobody was saying that 3 months ago. Nobody was saying that 6 months ago. Nobody was saying that when they won 15 games. And so when you think about all these different stories, and, when we had Damian Lee on set, and Bob Myers was pointing at Damian Lee and Jonathan Kuminga, and I thought about the culture wins this season.
Oh, my God.
What about the culture wins? You go back to the Detroit game.
I was just going to say Detroit.
The Detroit, San Antonio, South Beach, Miami, after losing to Orlando the night before. They had so many different culture wins.
The young guys up in Denver on that short week where they had a zillion games.
Yep.
I mean, there's just so many
battles. And they battled. And they battled.
The guy we haven't even brought up, watching him put a blanket on Jason Tatum, watching Andrew Wiggins celebrate, watching his daughter come up and hug Draymond's kids. We've seen these guys, and this is not corny, this is just reality. We've seen them go from boys to men, and then you see them add someone like Andrew Wiggins, and I'm just going to say it. I've been texting you about this. Yep. Seeing Andrew Wiggins get the love that Kevin Durant so wanted made me feel so good on behalf of Andrew, devoid of whatever Kevin believes.
Right.
It was just great to see him have that moment. He said, it's about winning. I came here and I didn't realize how hard I had to work to be a winner. And it was like, man, that's everything right there. It was just
everything.
It felt like such a family culture win. And the thing is, go back 2 years ago. And this is, I'm talking to the audience. I'm talking to the people that do this for a job like we do. I mean, I'd be doing this with my buddies, whether I was getting paid or not.
Right.
How many times did we all doubt this team? I don't know, man. Maybe they don't get back. This is a tough one. I don't know. We had a 15-win season. You had no idea what the draft pick was going to be. You had no idea if Klay was going to come back. You had no idea, have we seen the best of Steph Curry? I mean, think about where we were 2 years ago. Then think about where you were last year when you lost to Lakers and Memphis in consecutive games.
I'm not going to lie to you, Shasky. I'm really not going to lie to you.
I doubted him.
No doubt. No doubt. It's okay.
I love this team.
Let me tell you this, though. Let me say this. Let me go back to Andrew Wiggins for a second before we get to
I'm all over the place.
No. It's all good. It's all good. We got calls. We're going to get to every call.
Oh, yeah. This is about the audience.
This show's going to fly by.
957-9570.
This show's going to fly by, but you brought up Andrew Wiggins.
I'm so happy
and
for him.
Willie and I talked to him for about 2 to 3 minutes before he came on air.
He was so
And the way he opened up.
Yeah.
And the way he was happy. And the way we brought up his yearbook picture and, coming here and being traded. And, I was like, Wiggs, the performance you put on this postseason, I guarantee you will get votes for all defensive team next year.
100%.
Because you've now put the league on notice.
Yep.
Jason Tatum was invisible last night,
Dude,
especially in the second half.
How about the block at the end of the game?
The block at the end of the game just to say, I've been here. I'm here all night. He hit 4 threes. He scored 18.
Yep.
He was the perfect compliment for Stephen Curry.
100%.
And now you got Andrew Wiggins, who now believes, damn, I'm a champ now. I'm playing with Steph, Klay, Dre, Jordan Poole. Oh, life is about to get better for me. Major bag alert.
Forget him being the third or fourth option. He's the second best player on the team right now.
No, he was unbelievable. He was unbelievable in this
just call
playoff.
It what it is.
The two-way player, and Klay
that's
Thompson
not a
said
knock.
it. No, it's not a knock. Klay Thompson said it after the game. Andrew Wiggins did the job I used to have.
I heard
and
that.
I said, how the hell did he do that?
I heard
this guy is getting buckets while defending his ass off.
I know.
How does he have so much stamina now?
I'm so happy.
You brought up the 15-win season.
I can't.
And it was a lost year, Shasky.
Bonta, how many hours did we subject this audience to arguing about is Eric Paschall a good player or not?
Well, I'll tell you this from my perspective. I was going to the games with Whitley Sandretto, and the media section was empty. There was no more ESPN. There was no more NBA TV. There was none of that. Yeah. There was open seating.
Was that when Ethan Sherwood-Strauss took a parachute out of town?
I don't know.
I'm going after everybody today.
You can't. Whatever. Raymond Ritter came into a presser, and he was just like, I'm going to remember who's coming to these games. I'm going to remember.
Uncle Ray Ray?
Steph made a return that year against the Toronto Raptors on a Thursday night on TNT. It got ratings it was like the highest rated TNT game of the regular season. And they go play Toronto as they win 15 games. And I remember going in that locker room in Toronto, in the Toronto Raptors locker room, and they were like, the Warriors are going to be back next year. they're going to be back.
Wow.
Steph looked like Steph. And he was playing with, JTA was there,
Bonta.
Marquise Chris,
Bonta.
Eric Pascal. Seriously.
Fringe
everybody was like,
NBA players.
Seriously.
I'm not trying to dismiss those guys, but let's call it what it is.
No doubt. So, I'm thinking to myself, okay, if they get Klay back next year, they get a top 5 pick, they're going to be back in the playoffs. Now, Klay gets hurt on draft night, but they still scramble to win 39 games. They were 3 games out of the 5 seed, so I thought there was hope. But I'd be lying if I said they're going to win an NBA championship.
Oh, come on.
I just thought they'd be in the mix.
Bonta.
Can you contend for a Western Conference championship? I thought they could do that at the least. But I didn't think championship. I wasn't thinking championship.
You blew this into my ear last week, and today's not the day. I mean, why are we ruling out him catching Jordan? I mean, let's just call it what it is. I'm looking around at Kuminga, 19 years old, and I'm looking at he has a death stare like, I did nothing in these finals. You just wait until I get unleashed.
Well, Bob Myers was joking yesterday, half joking, saying Kuminga's mad he didn't start in the NBA Finals. So he's ready to go. Moses Moody's ready to go. James Wiseman's working
Jordan
on his 3.
Jordan got better as the series went on.
Better as the series went on. His 11 points in the second quarter was just money time. A money time special.
How about him kissing the trophy? Kissing the trophy. Dude, I'm like, hey, yo, JP, I know you got the French little mustache thing. Stop French kissing the Larry O'Brien.
Here's a quote from Joe Lacob in Anthony Slater's article in The Athletic, and I saw Anthony talking to Joe Lacob, and he was feeling himself. He came on a set
Slater
right after.
or Lacob?
Both. Well, Slater's doing his thing. Well, Slater's my guy.
I love
Slater's
Slater.
always got swagger.
I love Slater.
He's always swagged out, but it was more so Lacob. And here's a quote from Lacob. We're always assessing, Lacob said. We wouldn't spend that kind of money on the roster if we didn't think we had a chance to win. When you do think you have a chance to go far and compete for a championship, our belief is we are going to do everything we can, use every last dollar. A lot of teams can't do that or won't do that, I guess.
Won't.
We have great revenue. Our business side is so good. We generate revenue at a great rate. So we're able to spend a little more. There's no doubt about that. But we wouldn't do it if we didn't think we had a chance to win.
I mean, it's just incredible. I love this guy. He's the greatest owner. He's the greatest owner of the last 35 years here in the Bay Area. I mean, you just got
whoa. Let's Eddie DeBartolo?
Well, I mean, I consider Eddie left in 1999, so 25 years, whatever you want to say it, 25 years, excuse me.
Giants won 3 championships. I mean,
hey,
but
Larry Bear's been amazing. But Eddie DeBartolo, amazing. Joe Lacob's done what no one thought that they could do. He took this team that was as bad as the Niners in the 70s, built them up, built a downtown stadium in an area that it's impossible to build. I mean, just look at the state of California, how difficult it's to build. Now, crank it up because it's San Francisco. He did it all on the water. I mean, and then reinvented this team on the fly while keeping its core. But they threaded the needle like no one thought they could. They kept all the young pieces. They added all these little random vets. They kept the core together, and it worked. And then swung the most ridiculous trade that everybody kind of rolled their eyes at in the Wiggins for D'Angelo deal and got Kuminga out of it. But what they've pulled off, I don't use this lightly. It almost feels like a miracle.
Dude, I mean, somebody in Minnesota should be arrested for that trade when you really think about it.
And Johnny Flynn.
When you think about it, I mean, that's going back 13 years, 15
thank
years.
You, Minnesota.
I mean, 13 years when they hit Rubio and Flynn. We're talking about what woulda, coulda, shoulda yesterday, but also just the trade of D'Lo.
Incredible.
And you look at D'Lo in this playoff series against Memphis, and the guy was running at a preseason pace.
Yep.
It was like, yo, D'Lo, it's a playoff game. It's game 6. Your team's down 3-2.
But he looked good.
Earth to D'Lo. Come on, buddy. Let's go. And then you get Kuminga, who's going to be a stud. You get Andrew Wiggins, who all of a sudden becomes unlocked as a two-way star. It's just a special, special ride. We're going to enjoy this all day long today on the Morning Roast. It's going to be a lot of fun. And the future's bright for the Golden State Warriors. This could be the first of many, many more.
I know.
In one of the more unique situations ever. How many teams in NBA history? And I don't think there's been any. The Celtics tried it in the mid-'80s when they drafted Lynn Bias and they had Reggie Lewis. Lynn Bias dies a day after the draft. The Warriors are building for the future while competing for championships simultaneously. It's never been done in NBA history.
No, it hasn't. I thought that Andrew Bynum and Kobe were going to be able to pull that off. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And it just never materialized. I think we're going to look back a decade from now, 15 years from now, 20 years from now. I think Game 4 is going to be one of the greatest wins in Warrior history.
Oh, no doubt.
I think that's going to be the turning tide of the series. And after about 3 games, Steve Kerr, basically put his thumb on the scale and in terms of like coaching adjustments.
Yeah.
Wasn't perfect. But, man, they had nothing for him yesterday. Bonta, they after that first punch, there was no counter punch for the Boston Celtics other than desperation threes.
Well, after that 14-2 start by the Boston Celtics and the crowd was going crazy, they're up 14-2. Kerr calls a timeout, settles everybody down. The Warriors didn't go on a 35-8 run.
I mean, come
A
on.
35-8 run.
Championship stuff, man.
Championship stuff and go up 15 and silence that crowd. Matter of fact, then before halftime, they go on a 15-2 run.
Yep.
And you had Boston Celtic fans, those big bad bullies on the East Coast.
Oh my God.
This passionate fan
I was
base. They're so
licking
tough
Portnoy's
and
tears.
hardcore fans. And they were booing at one point
Wait
in the
a minute,
first
wait
half.
a minute. Wait. The great sports city of Boston booed their players in a finals?
They booed their players. Something the Bay Area would never do in a final situation.
Let me get my monocle out. I'm monitoring that situation.
Booed their players.
Hey, B.
I couldn't believe it.
I want this to be about the fans. We have full lit lines.
Yeah,
When
we'll
we
get to
come
'em.
back, we're going to rat-a-tat-tat-tat.
No, we're not even going to rat-a-tat-tat. No. They're going to get their time today.
Oh, well, that's
You're
it.
going to get your time. We're going to get your time. Warrior fans, rejoice. Celebrate. If you want to call out people, call them out. I don't care. They're champs for the fourth time in 8 years. The Warriors are champs again. And nobody thought it could be done. They're champs again. Steph Curry, Draymond, they all kept 3 seats. We'll play sound throughout the night. I barely got any sleep. It's been a party out here
What a
in Boston.
game for Draymond.
What a
a vintage
championship game.
Draymond game, right? On the
12
biggest
points,
stage.
12 points, 12 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 blocks, 2 steals. It was a championship performance. I thought he hit one of the biggest shots of the game. 85-76. He hits a jumper right over Robert Williams
yes.
when they desperately
Yes.
needed it.
Yes.
Celtics were inching back, and he hits the jumper, and I'm like, Day.
I know.
Day.
How about
he
him?
showed up today.
He hits the 3 and he's staring at the Boston bench, and I'm
of
like,
course he was.
God, hate it or love it, the underdog's on top. I mean, God.
He is talking.
I love
it. What a time, man.
Oh, and
888-957.
Charles Barkley's going to eat some horse poop. We'll talk about that today.
Yeah, Barkley's done. They're all done.